Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Kat. I have no idea what I'm doing. We should all know this by now. I have no idea what's happening. Generally, I just go by the seat of my pants, but not this week. This week I have an outline and notes, so this is probably still gonna be a rambly mess, but at least I wrote out an outline of kind of where I wanted to go with this. Progression. Anyway, the last 2 weeks have been pretty rough in my life, so that's why I haven't uploaded in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, my stepdad had a mini stroke. He's okay. He's been in the hospital for a while. He gets to come home in a few days, which is exciting. I'm pretty happy about it. I did not get to go home to see him because I was also sick and I did not want to give him a cold while I had a cold. And then 3 days later, I had a fever. So I really did not want to leave my couch. Oh my, hiccups. I only ever hiccup once too, like that's so irritating. Anyway, I kind of just didn't want to leave my couch. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to do anything. I was miserable. And then a week later, I lost my job. Yeah, I have now joined the ranks of the unemployed. But I allowed myself a day to be bitter, but I'm going to be optimistic. There is something out there for me. I just have to find it. I was let go due to a reduction in workforce due to budget cuts. So I wasn't fired for disciplinary action or anything like that. I was let go because they don't have money to pay me. Essentially, that's what it is. And since technically speaking, I was the last one hired for my team, I was the one to get the boot. And like for the first 2 days after I lost my job, I was bitter and angry and I didn't want to see that. But you know, now that I've had time to calm down and I've gotten most of the anger out of my system, I'm more willing to say I do understand why it was me. I don't appreciate it, but I understand. But that's all I'm gonna say on the matter. I'm strong and I have a great skill set and I'm talented and someone will scoop me up. That's stupid optimism, but whatever. So this week, I'm kind of just sitting in my apartment because I have nothing else to do because I have no job. Sitting in my apartment in my unicorn onesie. I've sent off a few resumes. I've watched the entire season of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy on Netflix. I watched Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. And then I was like, oh, you know what? Let's start from the beginning. So I watched Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and then Return of the King again. Positive thoughts. But anyway, now that that's taken care of, let's move on. So I have been reading a lot, and since, you know, I have nothing better to do with my life right now, I'm halfway through Lord of Chaos. So I have finished the several books before it. But today, I want to talk about why I love Mat Cauthon. So I've been making little notes on post-it notes as I read, so that I will have something to like write down and come back to. And first of all, this has nothing to do with Mat Cauthon, but I just want to point this out. Okay, so I made this note at like 3 in the morning. I was half awake, but I don't like Lanfear. I don't. But I think that's the mark of a good author, is that I can hate a character so much, you know? Good job. But anyway, so let's talk about why I love Mat Cauthon. So I do have notes, so I'm probably going to be looking down occasionally. He worries about his mom and his sisters and his dad. He tells, like, there's one part where he tells Perrin to please, I can't leave, but could you please tell my dad and my mom and my sisters that I'm okay? And he takes a moment to think about his sisters and how old they'll be and what they'd be going through, and he wonders, are they old enough to braid their hair yet? Are they old enough to do this? So he does care about his family while he's gone. I love that in The Dragon Reborn, he, yeah, my hair's a mess. I don't care. like I said, I haven't had anything to do for the last few days, so my hair's in a braid, I'm wearing my unicorn onesie, I'm being comfy, I don't care. Anyway, he, in Dragon Reborn, he realized he needed money, and he was like, you know what better way to do it than to make a bet? So he bet two guys that he could beat them up with this, he could beat them with a quarterstaff to their swords. And they were like, no, you can't do that. And he says, here, I'll bet you, and I'll even let you both hit me at once. And they tried to get out of it, but then their teacher was like, okay, you know what? If you're not brave enough to do it, I'll pay for it. And then he proceeds to beat the tar out of them and teach them a lesson. I love that. It makes it even better that he's like sick and he's on an empty stomach, so he's starving as he's doing this. He put saving Egwene before saving himself in the Great Hunt. When they're at Falme, Rand says something about, I saw Egwene, I need to go save her, you carry on. And he says, no, if you've seen her, we need to save her. And Rand says, well, you don't have time to waste, you need to go. And he says, saving Egwene is not a waste of time. So, good man, Mat Cauthon. There's also a part where him and Tuon are talking about something, and she says that some men will purchase a damane to sleep with. And she said, and she's like, I don't get it. And he says, he basically has this internal thought of, what kind of man would want to bed a woman on a leash? Like, good on you. Even though they don't respect him at all and tend to treat him, in my opinion, they treat him like shit. Like Nynaeve and Elaine and Egwene, all of them just kind of like try to run all over him and walk all over him, and they're mean sometimes. So, but they even though they treat him badly, he still stands up and tries to save him and tries to help them. Also, side note, I love that like 4 books later, he does his best to make them apologize. Like, he requires an apology. So, good on you. Petty AF, I love it. He's a rape survivor. That's a topic for a whole new video, but everything that happens with Tylin, that's rape. Flat out, that's all I'm gonna say. That's a whole discussion for a whole nother video, but he's a rape survivor and he keeps on trucking. He's smart, but he tends to play that down a whole lot. He was smart before the whole business with the snakes and foxes happened, and he just happened to be a little bit smarter after that. He has a sense of humor. Like, not only does he have a sense of humor, but he's really, sometimes he doesn't realize he's being funny. But I think that's a lot of people. Sometimes they don't realize they're being hilarious, and which makes it even funnier. He tries to, one of my favorite things that Mat Cauthon does is in one of the later books, he tries to, they're having to go into a village and they're having to go in disguise. So he's written backstories for all of them, and they're all interconnected, and like he's like, but one of his compatriots is like, well, why is this? And he goes, and he has like a whole story to back up the reasoning for everything. It's basically like tiny fan fiction with it. Can you imagine Mat Cauthon writing fan fiction? That would be the best thing ever. I like that in the Shadow Rising, he says it's an internal thing. Another side note, I don't know how well Matt and Nynaeve are going to translate from book to television because of the rumors of the books getting a show, much like Game of Thrones. I don't know how well that's going to translate, because a lot of their character and a lot of the funny bits and a lot of the heartbreaking bits are all internal thoughts. So I don't really know how well that's going to go over. I hope it does well. But anyway, there's a part in Shadow Rising, I have it saved. Hold on. He had given jewelry to other women, maidens and others. He liked giving things to pretty women, even if all he got in return was a smile. He never expected more. If a woman did not enjoy a kiss and a cuddle as much as he did, what was the point? Amen, Mat Cauthon. Good on you. I'm really sorry about this. I just really needed some sugar today. So, this was in my pantry. I forgot I had these left over from Valentine's Day. But anyway, in general, I just really love Mat Cauthon. I love his character. I think that he and Perrin and Rand make the perfect trifecta. They make a great tripod. And I love all three of them. I love my boys. They're so funny. And I love that half the time Matt's like, I don't understand women. I don't get women. I don't get it. But Rand and Perrin get women, and then you go to Perrin and Perrin's like, I don't understand women. I don't get women. But Rand and Mat get women. And then Rand is like, I don't understand anything about women. I'll have to ask Perrin and Mat about this because I have no idea. Perrin and Mat know about women. they don't know. But none of them know about women. They all just think the other one does because he has better luck. So but anyway, in general, I just really love Mat Cauthon. I also will argue to the end of time that Mat Cauthon gave someone a zebra. That's what that was. It's a zebra. It's described as a zebra. I had someone try to tell me that I was wrong, that it was a paint, not a zebra. And that, I mean, I could see that, except for the fact that it's described as having stripes. A paint is not stripes. It's like blobs, I think, if I remember correctly. It's blobs of color. It's not like straight striped lines. So he gave that woman a zebra, and I'm gonna argue about that till the end of time. So, I am sorry if this was a rambly mess. I'm aware that it's a rambly mess, you know, but hey, at least I'm, you know, starting to make notes, and I'm starting to plan things out, and, you know, progressing onward as I learn new things. So if you've stuck with me till now, thanks. If you're new, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm learning slowly, so hopefully later videos will be better. Hopefully my next video will be even more planned out and won't be a rambly mess. We'll see what happens. I'll probably be at my parents' house for my next video, so you might get to meet my parents if they agree to be on camera. They're probably not going to agree to be on camera. But until then, thanks for joining me on this silly journey of mine, and thanks for hanging, and I'll see you next week.